On today's show, we're diving into one of my favourite cinematic themes of all time, the glorious rise of the underdog. From Legally Blonde to Ted Lasso, from Cool Runnings to Welcome to Wrexham, we'll explore why we love the ones who weren't supposed to win, and how you can channel that same unstoppable energy in your own story. So, grab your popcorn, get comfy, and silence your inner critic, because it's time to Movify your life. Welcome to the Movify Your Life show, the plot twist you've been waiting for. I'm your host, Jessica Grace Coleman, and through the Movify Your Life method, I'll show you how to step into the starring role of your story and create a life worth watching. Every Movify Monday, you'll learn how to turn everyday moments into unforgettable memories, activate your main character energy, and use cinematic tools to boldly chase your biggest dreams, like the movie star you truly are. Because when the credits roll, I want you to look back at your life like it's the greatest film ever made, full of meaning, magic, and most importantly, zero regrets. And because I truly believe everyone deserves to live an epic life fit for the big screen. So, grab your popcorn, cue the music, and together, let's Movify your life.
The Movify Your Life show begins. Lift your spirit, let joy rush in. Feel the magic, hear the roar. Step on stage and ask for more.
Welcome to the Movify Your Life show podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Grace Coleman. You can call me Jess. I'm also Chief Movifier and Director of Movify Your Life. Find out more at movifyyourlife.com if you have no idea what I'm talking about. And this episode is all about underdogs, why we love them in films and TV shows, and how to be one in your own story. But before we get onto that, I usually start an episode by saying what I've been watching recently. And I have just watched the other day on Netflix. It is Ed Sheeran's One Shot. I'm just checking what it's called because I may be giving you fake news here. It is about an hour long, and One Shot with Ed Sheeran, a music experience. It's about an hour long, and I heard him talking about this on, I think it was the Graham Norton show, and they did it 3 times because things kept happening, but they used one shot, and it was literally one shot of him walking around New York, singing his songs with his little guitar, going to parties, doing a song there. There's like someone who proposes. There's a surprise party. There's Camila Cabello at one point appears in a car, and it is great. I do like Ed Sheeran's music. I actually went and saw him at Wembley years and years ago when Elton John came out as a surprise guest, so that was cool. But like, even if you don't like his music, this is really, really cool. Like, they did it with one camera. There's like a little crew following him around, and after I watched it, I did watch a sort of 10-minute making of video that I found online because I could not work out how they did some of the camera work. It's really impressive. So there is a guy running around with a camera, but there's a few people because they had to keep swapping the cameras because it's really heavy, and they shared the load. And a lot of the time they're just walking along, but sometimes the camera gets put on like the front of a car or the side of a taxi. At one point, there's a drone shot, and you're like, how did that happen? Because they were just following him around, and we know it's one shot. And they actually sort of like put the camera really quickly on the drone and then sent it up and really just hoped it didn't fall down, and then came down and they grabbed the camera again and carried on following him. So it's really interesting, really clever. And yeah, it's quite emotional, really. I like the fact that obviously Ed Sheeran is English and he comes from like a little place in the countryside in England, and now he's this huge global star. He has like $9 million apartment in New York as well as his house in England, and he still seems so down to earth. Just as he's walking around saying hi to people, you can tell he's not like an obnoxious celebrity. He just seems really cool. Would I want to movify my life like this? I'm not sure how I would, unless I was an amazing singer, songwriter, guitar player, and I could roam around doing this myself. But I really like the sort of cinematic nature of this, and the really ambitious, just the ambition that went into it, really, like thinking about doing this, figuring out how to do it, all the rehearsals that must have taken place, and then to get it all in one shot is just a really cool achievement. So highly recommend One Shot with Ed Sheeran, a music experience on Netflix. Okay, so let's get into the show, the main part of the show. So underdogs. So what is it about underdogs? It's sort of like the kind of theme that gets me every single time, because they're the ones who like no one believes in, that aren't supposed to win, that maybe they got laughed at or overlooked until they weren't. So We like get really emotional when Rocky runs up those steps, or we cheer when Elle Woods struts into court wearing full pink when everyone underestimated her because of the pink and the blonde. And we grin from ear to ear when Ted Lasso proves that kindness can actually win in a cynical world. But why? Because, there's lots of, big speeches, the training montages, all those underdog stories. I think if you're anything like me, they remind you of yourself. They show you that courage matters more than like any qualifications or credentials you might have, that it's not about what people think you can do. It's about what you think you can do, what you know you can do. And often it's the person who looks least likely to win who ends up changing everything. So in this episode, we're going to do a bit of a dive into why we love underdogs so much. And more importantly, how you can take those same lessons and apply them to your own life, because that is what Movify Your Life is all about. So maybe you're not behind. Maybe you're just in your underdog era. And this is your training montage moment. This is hitting home with me right now, I think. Maybe I am just in my underdog era, so let's hold on to that. So when I think of underdog stories, I think of things like Legally Blonde, which may not seem like such an underdog story because she's a well-off, wealthy lady, but everyone underestimates her because she's blonde, because she likes pink and all things girly. She's head of a sorority. She does fashion merchandising. No one believes she has the brains to become a lawyer. And of course, she proves everyone wrong in Legally Blonde. We have Cool Runnings turning a Jamaican bobsled team, something that shouldn't make sense, into legends. We've got Ted Lasso coming into British football, not knowing anything about the sport, but turning a club around and making everyone fall in love with him in the process. I also think of Welcome to Wrexham, which I kind of think of as being the real life Ted Lasso. It's like a real life sort of sports movie with a struggling team, a loyal community, and a dream that refuses to die. And you can find the same spirit in all kinds of films, like Billy Elliot, Erin Brockovich, Hidden Figures, The Queen's Gambit, even Ratatouille. Because yes, I believe even a rat can teach us something about believing in ourselves. And I love rats, so there we go. And like I say, they work because I think we see ourselves in the characters. We know what it's like, a lot of us, maybe not everyone, to feel like we're at the bottom of something, like we're at the bottom of this huge mountain we're trying to climb, whether it's the mountain of wealth or success or happiness or anything. And we feel like the underdog in a movie. And watching these underdog movies and TV shows gives us hope that we too can do something awesome and come out on top, even if no one believes in us. So I'm sure you can come up with loads of ideas and examples of underdog stories. The Pursuit of Happiness is a big one as well with Will Smith, and that's based on a true story. Little Miss Sunshine, The Family of Misfits, Karate Kid, I guess. There's usually like a mentor or a guide helping the underdog, as we see in Karate Kid with Mr. Miyagi. Also really loved Cobra Kai, the TV show. Eddie the Eagle. What else? There's like Bend It Like Beckham, I guess, could be one. The Full Monty, Calendar Girls. We just love underdogs. Like I say, we see ourselves in them. They prove that success isn't about status. It doesn't matter how you grew up, where you were born. It's not about being lucky or rich. It's about grit and self-belief and determination and personal growth. All the great stuff I love talking about in Movify Your Life. It's about sort of challenging the system, challenging the status quo, the way things are, challenging the ideas we have about the kinds of people who can achieve big things. And it just reminds us that we're capable of anything, which I think is always a good thing. So I don't think I need to convince you that underdog stories are amazing things. I think you all already know that. But how can we embody that energy in real life? So this is where we can actually apply it to our real lives in a movified style. So the first thing to do is to start where you are, not where you think you should be, because every underdog starts either like at the bottom of the mountain, like I say, or at literal rock bottom, like they don't think they can go any lower. They start at the rock bottom, not the red carpet. So a lot of us put our dreams off because we think, I've got to wait until I get to this certain point and then I can start going towards my dream. Like when I've lost this much weight, when I've saved this much money in the bank, when I've proved to myself that I have what it takes. Just scrap all that, start where you are, do even tiny things to start getting you on the way up that mountain, main character mountain as I call it. And just who cares about where you think you need to be to start becoming the person. You become the person by doing the thing. So just start where you are, start right now. That's how all underdogs get started. The second thing is to embrace being underestimated. And I really like this one because I think people have underestimated me in particular my whole life because I've always been very quiet and very shy, not really spoken out. And people underestimate the quiet ones. And I think we're the ones who often have a lot of the power, and we can work away, squirreling away, things in the background, working away in the background. And people won't know what's hit them when we actually come out and go, ta-da, I've done this thing. So I really think being underestimated is a superpower, because when no one expects you to win, you're free to surprise them. And like I say, you can work in the background, and while everyone else is faffing about, you can actually be doing the thing that you need to do to get to where you want to be.
Okay, movie star, real talk. Are you tired of feeling like a background extra in your own life? Then it's time to step into the spotlight and activate your main character era. And I've got just the thing to help you do it. Grab my free Movie Star Alter Ego Starter Kit, your behind-the-scenes pass to creating the bold, brave, action-taking version of you who goes after their dreams like the star of a blockbuster. Inside, you'll discover how to design your alter ego, choose your transformational item, pick your theme song, and build the rituals and confidence cues you need to start living your life like the epic movie it was meant to be. So, if you're ready to rewrite your script, roll camera, and finally take the lead, head to movifyyourlife.com/free to download your free starter kit now. That's movifyyourlife.com/free. Your next scene starts today. And now, let's get back to the action.
So number 3 is to use obstacles as plot twists. I talk about this a lot. We're thinking about our life in terms of a movie. Failure is inevitable, but it's also a good thing. We only learn through failure. Well, not only, but you know what I mean. We learn a lot through the things that don't work, and we learn what we want out of life, what we don't want out of life. We learn what doesn't work, so then we can go after what does work. And failure scenes are just training montages in disguise. So if you feel like nothing's going wrong, nothing's going right for you right now, as I say, it might just be you're in your training montage era. You're getting ready for the next phase. Just ask yourself, what is this preparing me for? Number 4 is to build your hype squad, because in a lot of these TV shows and movies, like I say, there's often a mentor, a guide, or like an actual squad of friends, someone who believes in them, even if you don't believe in yourself. So surround yourself with people who support you, basically. Even if you can only find one person, that's great. And if you can't find them in real life, either do things that mean you could find them in real life, like go and join a meetup group, start your own meetup group, or head online, find people online. I've made loads of friends online, like business communities, Facebook groups and stuff who I've then met up with in real life. So it doesn't matter if you don't have these people in your life IRL for now. Number 5 is to play the long game. Underdogs don't win in the first act. They keep going, they keep pursuing their dreams, their goals, they stay consistent. So even if things aren't happening as quickly as you want, that's fine. Remember, you're playing the long game. 6 is to create your own montage moments. So like I say, if you're in a training montage phase of your life, embrace it. Turn every day into a montage moment. Just make a little bit of progress every day, and imagine you're filming yourself, filming every little bit when you can actually film yourself, and to put into a montage. And then obviously put Eye of the Tiger over the top of it and use it for motivation, either for yourself or for other people. Put it on social media. Why not? Create your own montage moments. And number 7 is to believe before the evidence. So you need the ultimate underdog mindset. You need self-belief before you have proof that you can do it. Because in a lot of these situations, the underdogs did have no proof whatsoever that they could do what they wanted to do, but they believed they could. And I want to put a caveat here, because I think even if you don't believe 100% you can do it, if you believe you have what it takes to start, then that's often all you need. You just need the belief to start, and then keep going, keep being consistent, play the long game, get your squad together, think about yourself being in a montage moment, training montage era, embrace being underestimated, use failures and obstacles as plot twists, and keep going and never give up. And why? Because if you never give up, then there's no other result than success. It's the people who give up who don't win. So that's what I think about how you can use the themes you see in like underdog movies and TV shows to apply it to your own life. And life's just more fun when you sort of think of yourself being in a training montage or in an underdog storyline. And it just gives you that extra boost to go like, yeah, I do want to show the audience, the people in your life, or strangers on the internet, whoever your audience is, that you do have this, you've got this. Even if people underestimate you, you can go out there and achieve awesome things and hopefully have a lot of fun in the process. So if you ever have a moment when you're thinking, I can't believe this is my life, I thought I'd be way further ahead by now, or this isn't where I wanted to be or thought I would be at this age, then just take a step back and view your life as if it's one big underdog narrative that is going to end up on the big screen and you're just in your training montage era. You will get there if you keep going, if you remain consistent, and if you never give up. And I think being underestimated makes the success even sweeter when you do get there. So I want to leave you with a bit of a rally cry, like a call to action. So if you've ever been the quiet one, the outsider, the dreamer people laughed at, well, congratulations, because you're in the perfect position to pull off the greatest plot twist of all time. Be that lovable underdog who refuses to give up until the credits roll, and you will achieve your big dreams. So, with all this in mind, what's your comeback story going to be? If you've ever felt behind, overlooked, underestimated, you're not the failure of your story, you're the foundation of its greatest comeback. Because every movie we love, every hero we root for, started exactly where you are right now. Unsure, imperfect, and brave enough to try anyway and take that first step. So take the punch, wipe off the sweat, cue the soundtrack, and get back up. This is your underdog era. This is your training montage moment. And when the credits finally roll on your story, I want you to be the one who can say, they never saw it coming, but I did. How cool would that be? I hope this has sort of sparked something in you. I really do resonate with the whole underdog thing, and I think a lot of people out there probably do as well. So I hope this makes you think about your life in a sort of slightly different way, and I hope it gives you the motivation to go out there and do something awesome. And before we end the episode, I do a little segment called Movify the Moment, and sort of movifying a situation in life, an everyday scenario. And this time I want to look at rejection. So whatever kind of rejection you face, maybe you've just had an email come in, or you've just got off a call. Maybe the person you're talking to uttered the words, we've decided to go in a different direction. Or maybe you asked someone out and they laughed in your face. Not great. So whatever the kind of rejection is, most people would call this failure. But as I've said, we need failure in our life to learn all kinds of things about ourselves, about our journey, about what to do, what not to do, what works, what doesn't work. So instead of calling the rejection a failure, we can use the term turning point. Think of your life as if it's a screenplay for a movie. This is the turning point. It's the scene that makes the final act so satisfying. Because without this failure, if everything had just been going fine throughout the film, no one cares. No one wants to keep watching. So we need these scenes. Because rejection isn't the end of your story. It's the edit that makes the comeback scene possible, which ties into all the underdog stuff. As I said, every underdog has this moment. It's the job they didn't get, the pitch that fell flat, the opportunity that slipped through their fingers, the guy or girl who turned them down. It's the bit that hurts a lot, but it's also the bit that builds grit. So instead of spiraling into I'm not good enough or any other kind of negative Nelly thinking we want to get rid of, I want you to view yourself as the main character. The camera pans out, the soundtrack swells, you take a breath, you square your shoulders, and you get back to work. Because this might not be just simply the rejection scene, it might be your origin story. This might be the universe, or whatever you believe in, saying no, simply so you can create space for your yes, whatever that might be. You could imagine your future self or the main character in the movie at the end looking back and saying, that's where it all changed. That's the moment I stopped taking no for an answer. So cue your internal soundtrack, open your laptop, send another email, hit record, rewrite the plan, ask someone else out on a date, I don't know, whatever it might be. And just picture yourself being the main character in a movie and how we need those rejection moments, those failure moments for the screenplay to make any sense later on down the line. And as I said, it's not the end, it's the start of your training montage. And when your big break scene finally arrives, that's the moment that will make the audience cheer. So next time you face a rejection or a failure, I want you to reframe it exactly like this and Movify it so you look at it in a positive light. I know it might not seem positive at the time, but we can definitely view it this way going forward, especially if we think of ourselves as the main character in an epic film, the epic film of our lives. So that's it. That's me rambling about underdogs. Done. Thank you for listening. Until next Movify Monday, that's a wrap, and I'll see you on the red carpet.
Thank you so much for listening to the Movify Your Life show. Before you go, don't forget to sign up for the main character memo mailing list at movifyyourlife.com/list for exclusive tips, treats, and behind-the-scenes magic. And if you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could please subscribe, leave a review, or share this podcast with a friend. Let's spread that Movify message far and wide because everyone deserves to live an epic life fit for the big screen. I'll see you next week for another Movify Monday. Until then, that's a wrap.